Hey my lovelies, Peter here from Strong Healthy Women. Hope you're having a super awesome day. It is morning here in Brisbane, Australia. It could be totally different for where you are, so either good morning or good evening. So today I wanted to drop by because we put up a post just recently in Women Over 50 Get Active and Healthy, and the post was, I was putting 2021 on notice and some of the things that I have as far as on my goal list. And so some of you actually shared what your intentions are as far as your goals are concerned. But what I saw there, and someone particularly expressed it really, really well, which was Tess. Hey, Tess. She said that she has all these good intentions, and what happens is her husband's stress, her work, her animals, all of those things get in the way of her putting herself first and taking care of herself. And then all that happens is of an evening she goes for that glass of wine to cope with the stress of what's been happening in her life. And that's sort of like her day, and what happens is all of those goals that she has for herself don't happen. So thanks for sharing that to Tess. So I really wanted to talk about putting ourselves first today, and looking at self-care as something that is not a selfish act, but it's a really, really important act that we all do for ourselves. And I know that that is easier said than done, because as women, what happens is we want to nurture other people. We want to help other people. That's just ingrained in us. And so, and we feel fulfilled, we feel accomplished, and we feel great by doing it. But there are certain times where we will be doing something for someone else and begrudgingly we don't want to do it. And we could get very much resentful of doing it as well too. And so, you can Google this stuff, which says, write a list, what's your priorities as far as your self-care concerned. It takes you through this process, but, the fact is, we could write lists all day, every day, and never really get around to doing something. So it's always about the action that we take in regards to, taking those steps forward. And with anything, whether we want to exercise more, whether we want to eat healthy, whether we want to take care of ourselves more and put ourselves first, it does all come down to taking some type of action towards that. So I want to wind it back, because one of the things that I learned very, very early in my life was to take care of myself. And that was a direct result of a sexual attack that actually happened on me when I was 13. And so, hey Ruth, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. And so what actually happened is, and I've actually just written a chapter actually talking about all of this stuff. So, and it's coming out just before Christmas, and it's called Overcoming Life's Obstacles. So it's a compilation of different people from around the world, and the situations that they've found themselves in over their life. And so I've had several situations that I've been put into, and they shape who we are, and we can take from them what we can take from them. But let's get back to why I want to explain this. Oh no, you're okay, Ruth. Please interrupt your whatever. If you've got questions, please, throw them at me as well too. So as a direct result of me and this attack that happened when I was so young, and it was back in the 70s when you just didn't, communication was not something that you ever heard too much about. Like we didn't even report bullying or anything like that. And of course I ended up getting bullied as a result of all of this stuff. But what actually happened from it, and I'm going to take this as an absolute positive, is that I learned how to take care of myself. I actually learned how to put myself first. So fast forward, what happened was I realized that the only person who could protect me, even though I had parents, the only person who could protect me, and that was me, and that I had control over that situation at the age of 13. So it was a really strange feeling to actually put yourself first. And of course, then, you know, your parents tell you you're selfish because you put yourself first all the time. But, you know, that didn't matter, because for me, it was about controlling the environment around me and to be able to protect myself, because I didn't want that harm to happen again. And the only way I could do that is to actually care about myself. So to really, really put myself, you know, front and center in my life. That didn't mean that I put myself out there as far as other people were concerned, but it actually just meant that I would do things that I felt safe doing. I would do things that were in my interest, in my best interest. So if they weren't in my best interest, then I wouldn't do them. So I learned how to say no to situations, but yes to me. And I think that is the underlying thing when it comes to putting ourselves first. What we're doing is we're saying no to other people, but we're saying yes to us. Because ultimately, this is our life. Even though we have significant people in our lives, we have our families, we have our, you know, our partners, our, you know, husbands, wives, whatever. We have our friends, and they're really, really important to us. But ultimately, it's our life, and we need to make decisions for ourselves. So there are many, many times where I will get asked to, as an example, look after grandkids. And I will say, I'd love to help, but I can't do it that day, but I can do it later on. I can do it at this stage. Will that work for you? So I work out what works for me. I do say that it works for me. And it's really interesting to go through this process, because now when the kids ring up and say, now, you know, it's okay to say no. So, and they know that it's okay to say no. And if it doesn't work for me in my life. And I remember them one day, you know, saying, why aren't you like those other women, you know, at your age that, you know, are actually just looking after the grandkids and, you know, not working anymore? And I've gone, oh, wow, that's just not me. I actually enjoy working. You know, my life's purpose is to help other women feel strong in themselves and believe in themselves, and to learn how to put themselves first. And, you know, I do that through health and well-being. And, you know, for you, it may be doing it some other how, but I know because you're in this group that your health and your well-being is important to you. So, which is fantastic. All right. So what are you going to do today that enables you to say, right, when I have a situation in front of me that is going to drain me, that is not in my best interests, how am I going to handle that? So look, I love Mel Robbins. If you've never read The 5-Second Rule, it is a book that I would totally recommend that you do, okay? So Mel Robbins talks about a whole host of things, so get the book. But the 5-second rule really boils down into this. When you face a situation where it can go one way or the other, you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have to count backwards, okay? You can't count the other way because you'll keep going with your count. So you've got to count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it's like taking a big, deep And as you inhale, and when you give yourself that 5 seconds, what you're doing is you're giving yourself the opportunity to really think about the situation. So you get to make the choice. What we forget about is that we have the choice. We don't have to say yes. Here's the classic. You get asked, how are you today? And we go, oh, good, thanks. Even though you may be feeling absolutely crappy. Okay, so it's just that automatic thing that we do. We go, okay, yeah, no, I'm good. Oh, Rooster saying she loves Mel Robbins too. Yep, she's a great speaker. She definitely is a great speaker. She's really interesting. There's no BS with her. I love it. So what I want you to do is when you are in a situation today where it can go either way, where you get to say yes to doing something that deep down you know that it's not going to be in your best interest, that it's going to drain you, that it's going to take up time that you don't have, that it's going to take up time that you had allocated to do your exercise or to prep your food so that you were eating healthy. If it's going to take you away from that, then you have the right to say no. So you take that deep breath, do it from a place of love. Just say to them, look, I'd love to be able to help, but I just can't do that right now. And really, just know it's okay. You don't even have to give excuses with it. You just get to say, look, I'm going to do it this way. And that I would guarantee that I do this every day of the week. I always get up and I put myself first because I am important in my life. So that doesn't mean that I don't care about other people. It doesn't mean that I don't help other people. I do, but it needs to be able to fit in with what I want to achieve in my life. So you know what you want to achieve in your life. You know what you want to do. And if you don't, then take the time. So I want to talk about my lovely daughter-in-law. And she's at a crossroads because of COVID. You know, she has not been able to work. She works in hospitality. And what's happened is she said to me, I'm going to go and do some retraining and I'm going to get into admin. And I said, okay, is that an area you're interested in? She said, oh, I don't know. So I said to her, okay, well, think about what are the things that you love? What are the things that put a smile on your face? What brings you joy? What are the things, and if you can't come up with something, go back to, you know, your teen years. What were the things that you loved doing? And a few weeks later, we had a conversation and she was talking about the admin and I said, oh, okay, so you decided that this is, you know, what you want to do. And she said, no, I just haven't had time. And I said, oh, Trish, you know what? You have had time. She said, oh, I have, Peter. So she's a lovely girl. And she said, I have had time. And I said, yeah, that's right. I said, because now you have got back to work, but you're only working, you know, so many days a week. And I said, I can guarantee that you drop those kids at school of a morning and then you come home and you'll sweep the floors or you vacuum or, you know, you put the washing on. Or you go and catch up with your family or some friends for coffee and all of those types of things, which is lovely. I said, but there is plenty of time in the day where you could steal 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and you could just sit and just grab out a book and just write down, what do I love doing? Just write it all down. You know, and what you can do there is you might not find anything that day, but the next day, keep writing down until you find that there'll be these patterns or these things that stand out that are obvious to you. And that's maybe where you want to be. But when you're doing something, it needs to bring joy into your life. You need to feel good about it. So we can't all do something that is, totally our passion thing. There is work associated with the work that we do. But if you can't find something that you're joyous about, then find something that you're good at. And if you're good at it, then it will bring you great happiness as well too. So, we're not all destined to be, those great, fantastic speakers on stage. But we're all destined to live a life that we deserve. And you deserve it, but it does mean that you start to say yes to yourself. Okay, now this is going to feel a little bit grindy. So it is going to feel out of character, and it will feel out of nature to what you currently do. That's okay. I want you to practice it every day. So pick something really, really simple to start with. So when something comes at you and you get asked to do something and you know that it's not going to fit into your schedule, that you know it's not the right thing for you right now, I want you to practice 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take that breath, give yourself the moment, and then say, look, I'd love to be able to, but, and you don't even have to give the but. You'd love to be able to, it's just not going to work right now, and that's okay. All right, so I'm giving you permission to put yourself first, okay? Now, I want you to give yourself permission to put yourself first, whatever that means. And I want you to post below and tell me today, what are you going to do to put yourself first, give yourself permission to do? So that's it for me today. Have a fantastic Tuesday it is here in Australia. So it was probably Monday in other parts of the world. And I know that we have ladies from all over the place here. So take care, have a great day, and thanks for tuning in. See you all soon, hey?